Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing a very exciting video because I finally got my hands on the Morphe 35O2 palette. And let's just take a moment to look at her. So this is the palette that Morphe came out with. I am a little late to get this palette just because I was waiting to see it in person at my local Ulta because I really wanted to see it in person, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like ordering stuff like this because I want it right then. So this is it. I picked it up as soon as I saw it. It's like, yes, come home with me. So this is the palette. It does have a lot of warm shades in it. It also has a little, it also has a bunch of matte shades and a bunch of shimmer shades. There are a few transition shades up here. And like I said, this is a really well-rounded palette in my opinion. Only thing it's missing is a matte white shade, which you'll see when in the video, how I feel about that. But besides that, this palette is beautiful. The pigmentation is amazing. The colors blend so good. This is the look that I created with this palette. So if you'd like to see how I created this look using the Morphe 35O2 palette, then just keep on watching. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It means a ton to me when you guys do. Leave me a comment if you have tried the Morphe palette, if you love it, if you hate it. Leave me a comment below if you have or not. And without any further ado, let's get it. I'm like looking at these warm shades right here. Like this shade right here and this one are just like in my face. So I'm gonna use the Tarte Shape Tape today just to set my eyes with. Go ahead and buff this out with my damp sponge. You kind of get the same effect with this as you would that eyeshadow base that I love. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set my eyes. So now that I have you guys all zoomed in, let's just go ahead and look at this. So the only thing I will say that I don't like is there's not a matte white shade. So you can't set down any base or anything. This one does have a shimmer to it. So I'm going to take my Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder, and this is in Fair. And I'm just going to set down that Tarte Shape Tape. Just because I don't want any creasing or anything like that. So let's just go ahead and set everything down because I want to give this palette a fair shake. The first shade I'm going to take, I need a good transition shade. So I'm going to take this shade up here in the corner right here. And this is called Universal, which is probably a really fitting name for it because it looks like a transition shade. Go ahead and take that on my NYX blending brush, and I'm just gonna start putting this in the crease just as a transition shade. It's got some really good pigment. This shade is a really good transition shade. I was worried that I wasn't gonna be able to find one in this palette, but this one really does do exactly what I wanted to do. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and go into the palette, and I'm gonna take this beautiful orange shade right here, and this color is called Ablaze, and I'm just gonna take that on the same brush, and I'm just gonna put this in. Holy pigment. Wow. Can you guys see how freaking pigmented this is? Like, I'm barely dipping my brush into the palette. This is like Cheeto color orange. So these shadows are super pigmented, as you can see. And actually with this orange one, I've not had any fallout, so that's pretty impressive. But the pigment is so beautiful, and like the more I put on, like the brighter and brighter it gets. Wow. I am stunned right now with how pigmented this color is. So I'm just gonna keep blending these out And they do blend so nicely. Like this shade is blending like a dream. So I'm just gonna bring that in. I think this is bright as we gonna get. Fire, which is like the perfect name for this shade, but it's this beautiful bright red right here. And I'm just gonna take this on a shader brush, and I'm gonna use this as our lid shade because this color is like screaming my name. So I'm just gonna pack it on. It works, this color actually works better when it's packed instead of like swiped on. I feel like I look like the Fire Cheetos right now. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting. I've got that done. I'm trying to decide if I should just like keep it real bright or if I should put a little bit of this black shade in the outer corner, but I'm like, okay, let's just go ahead and break into Wiz, which is just a matte black shade. I'm hoping this is just as pigmented as the Jaclyn Hill one, because that one's like super pigmented, and like the Dare to Create palette, the black that's in it, it's super pigmented too. So let's just see. Yes. Oh yeah. So I'm just patting it on right now to kind of get the placement. And then what I like to do is go in and blend it out. A clean blending brush, and this one's by Morphe. And I'm just gonna kind of diffuse that a little bit. That way it's not as harsh and it kind of blends in. And it kind of gives you that smoked out effect. Like the black to me is not as pigmented as the Jaclyn Hill one, or the Dare to Create, but it's still pretty pigmented. It's just not as dramatic as those are. I'm gonna go back in with Fire, and I'm just gonna pack that right back on that inner part of my lid. Then I'm gonna go back into Ablaze, which was the orange shade. And I'm just gonna kind of build that back up. I always feel like when I put darker shades on and kind of blend them into the outer corner, I lose all the intensity, and I don't want to do that. I'm gonna go back in with Wiz again, the black shade, and I'm just gonna kind of build this up a little bit. It is a really pretty shade though, I will say that. The black does have quite a bit of fallout, but that's okay. I can deal with fallout as long as the pigmentation's there. That's kind of my rule of thumb with that, is if pigmentation there, I feel like you should just expect some fallout. So it's not a deal breaker as long as it's pigmented. And these are not really like too buttery. The shades are not too like powdery. They're like the perfect consistency of shade, so. I'm gonna go back in with Ablaze one more time and just go on top. of that very top part of the crease. And then I'm also gonna take Fire, and I'm just gonna pack that. My NYX Epic Ink liner, and I'm gonna do a really crazy dramatic cat eye. Wipe, and I'm just gonna really go right underneath the liner just to kind of like sharpen that a little bit. I really didn't want any shadow underneath the liner, so that's kind of the cutoff point. And this does kind of sometimes make your wing look sharper if you do it like this. The Essence The False Lash Mascara, and this is the Extreme Volume and Curl one. Put on a nice coat. Okay, so now I'm gonna take Fire again, and I'm gonna take that on a shader brush, and I'm just going to smudge out my lower lash line. Okay, now I'm gonna be applying my red Aspen Faux False Lash, and I think these are in Rosy. I feel like they're so extra. This is a really good company too. And I'm gonna go ahead and apply these just because I want this look really dramatic. So let's just go ahead and apply these babies. So now I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of my face, and I will be right back to show you guys the final look. And this is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm pretty obsessed with this palette. Just gonna go ahead and say that now. This palette is super, super good, and I'm so happy I finally got my hands on it. I think the colors in it are super pigmented. They blend really well, and I just couldn't be happier. Some of these colors I've never seen before, so I'm super, super, super stoked about that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.